Hello everyone and welcome to our October Crafternoon. I'm here with Anna today.
Yes, I'm so excited to be here.
Yay! And we actually have Leah behind the camera today answering your questions and monitoring our chat. If you want to say hello from way over there.
Hello everyone. I think it's really fun to kind of try on different hats, and this is the first time I've actually sat behind the live video, and answered questions. So I'm here. I'm going to be calling every question out. So go ahead and put your comments and your questions right here in the YouTube chat. So if you're over on our site and you want me to see your comments and questions, pop over to YouTube because that's where I will see them. If you're watching the replay, you can comment either anywhere, and I will always come back
at the bottom of the post.
Yes, yeah. And I'm excited to put on my watercolor hat today.
There we go. All right, so I have a couple questions.
Okay.
Right. How are these watercolors different from the ones in your shop? And I want you to talk about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that for sure.
Yeah, so I'm going to let you go, and I'll... Oh, and also Christine said cute glasses.
Thank you.
They are very cute.
Thank you. Okay, so today we are going to be... I should have grabbed the framed one, the finished one. Oh well. Look at the thumbnail. We're going to be making this mushroom watercolor art, and this is, I think, like the 8th or something piece in a series that we've done of these layerable watercolor art pieces, and they are really great for beginners, and it kind of feels like a puzzle. It's one of my favorite new methods for playing with watercolor.
Yeah, I really like how it kind of has that 3D feel to them.
Super cool. So if you like this one, be sure to check out all of our other ones because there's a bunch.
Yes, and this is so great for all ages.
Thank you. So this is it.
It's so pretty. We've had kids in here making this with us, so
yeah,
appropriate for everybody.
So this is the finished product of what we're making today, and I will walk you through step by step of how to get this finished effect.
Yeah,
glue. I forgot glue.
Honestly, that looks a little intimidating to me, but I know with Emily as my teacher, it's going to turn out great.
Thank you. Getting glue things.
Sorry, we're a little scattered.
We're fine.
It's Friday.
All right, so we'll just chat about our tools and materials really quickly. First off, I did go ahead and print off. This is the last 2 pages. I printed double-sided from the tutorial. So I would go ahead and print that last page off. This has the painting guide on one side if you didn't print it double-sided. And then the other side, I have the arrangement and then the individual mushrooms of what we're going to make. So we've got that ready to go, and I've got my current favorite watercolor paper. This is the Favani Cloud paper, and we just stocked this in our shop with just this watercolor paper, and I love this specific one because it's not very toothy. A lot of watercolor paper is like a little, it's called a cold press, and it's pretty toothy, but this is really nice and smooth, but it's got that really pretty, if you're seeing it in person, kind of cloudy texture. I don't know if you can see it. I have got a big wide brush, one for each of us. Doesn't really matter what shape. I like these flat wide ones because we're going to be working pretty imprecisely. If you want to use one of these round ones, you can do that as well, but I like the flat ones. And then I have a little detail brush, one for each of us. And this one is optional. If you don't want to do your details with watercolor, you can use colored pencil, and I will show you that when we get to that step. I also have a little water, and I have these little cuppies. If you have a paint palette, you can use that as well, just for pre-mixing some of our bigger colors. And I also I'm going to teach you guys how to do this technique with table salt. So this is a little bit of a chunky table salt. I just have it here in this cup, and we will be using that on our paint.
Yeah, and it's really amazing how that salt kind of plays with the texture for the watercolor. Makes it really fun.
It's cool.
This is an artist trick, by the way. We used to do this in college. In
Old school watercolor trick.
Yes.
I also have some craft glue. We're using the Barely Arts today. And one of my favorite things about these watercolor projects is because we're using a paper that is made for water, you can use water-based glue without risking wrinkling. Yes.
Yay!
Okay, so we'll talk about the paint now. This is my current favorite beginner palette. This is called the Kuretake palette, and this is what the colors are here. They're a little, as we like to call them, seasoned, so they have some other colors mixed in, but I think that just adds to the beauty of...
This means that we use them a lot.
So this one I have linked on the post, and you can get this at Blick. if you're ordering it online. I found it at one of my favorite local art supply shops here in town called Columbia Arts and Drafting. I love this palette because it's got a really wide pan, and the difference between this and the ones that we were selling or we were using previously is I would say that is like a student grade, even more beginner than this guy, and it has a bit of a chalkier texture, and that's not a bad thing. I've done plenty of watercolors with that one, but it's a little harder to layer and get that depth of color because when you paint over it, it lifts right up. This is a staining watercolor, so when you paint, it's going to leave a little bit more of a stain on your paper, and it's not just going to lift right up.
I'm excited to try it.
Yes.
I want to say something. So when we initially brought the watercolors into the shop, it was mostly to use on crepe paper. So we weren't really looking for high quality.
Totally.
We were just looking for something that was inexpensive that we could, is readily available. But as Emily started taking on these watercolor projects, we're like, wait a sec, we gotta get a little higher quality. So this is the new one we found. We may or may not carry it in our shop, but we love Blick. They're a great place to purchase.
Yes, and I have found this one is a little tricky to find, like sourcing when we've tried to carry this, but if you can find something, you don't have to use this palette. Also, if you have something at home, use that. If you want to go purchase something at a local place in your town, go get something similar. It doesn't need to be exactly this. Yeah.
All right, let's get going.
So I have handed Anna 2 pieces of paper. We each have 2. You're going to need 2. So one for your background color and then one for our mushrooms themselves. So we're going to start off with the mushrooms, and this is what I'm going to have you do. And I kind of talked Anna through this already.
Can you move towards the center a little bit?
Sure thing. So I have got my template paper, my drawing guide here, and I'm just going to kind of hold it with a little on the edge, and I can see right about where my, it doesn't matter what color, I'm just gonna do yellow, I guess. I can see right where this line is, so I'm just gonna draw a little dash right where that box ends, all right? I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side down here, and here you can take this.
And I'll do the same on mine.
So now I have these guidelines for, I want this section to be for the mushroom tops, and then this section down here is going to be for our stems. This whole bottom section, we're just going to do one wash of color, but on this top, we're really going to have some fun. We're going to keep that handy so that we can see our placements. And so you can see on the drawing guide, or painting guide, over here I have these stars. So I want this bottom corner to stay pretty yellow. These here, they're kind of inspired by a chanterelle, so I want this section here to be a little bit more yellow. But for the rest of it, we can really play with color. We'll just kind of keep those handy. So what we're gonna start with is, I just want you to get your paper wet. And we're just gonna get just in this one top box. We're not gonna go all the way down. If you have a little residual paint on there, that's totally fine. And
I'm already having fun.
Watercolors are so calming.
Yeah, they really are.
And something that I really want to encourage you to do when you're playing with watercolor is we do not want precision. We want play, we want mush, we want fun. Honestly, just dive right in. If you're scared to dive in, just make a mark on the page. Doesn't matter. Anything.
Play and fun, I'm all in.
Yeah. Secondly, for these kinds of projects, I kind of like to think in terms of color sections. I'm not going to be painting one color across the entire top. Otherwise, all my mushrooms would kind of look the same. So I know I want maybe one of these bigger mushrooms, these ones or this one, to be red, kind of like an amanita. So I'm going to pick a side to do my red. And I'm just going to go with this really bright red right in this corner. And I'm going to keep this kind of localized. And if you want to, like blow it out, see what I mean? Careless. You can.
And I'm picking the opposite corner of Emily.
So this is just our first round as well. And then I'm going to take some of this burnt sienna, this more brown color. It's got a nice red under for the other big mushroom. And you can see right now, I'm not really touching my colors, but as I go, we can kind of blend these over.
Christine wants to know if you wet the whole top section for the wet on wet technique, so maybe show it again.
Yes, so I did wet this section before I started. You do not have to, that is totally optional. And yes, Christine, that is called the wet on wet, which is a great way to get these like really soft blends. But you can see that I want this separation of color. I don't want all of this to blend in to one big tone. So that's the big fun thing with these projects, is having those textures show in your final cut just adds to the end product. And then I'm going to go in with this ochre and maybe a little yellow for where I want these stars to go. And we can kind of touch here at the top so that they start to blend. Oh, I forgot to hand you your paper towel.
Thank you.
And then continue down with that yellow for those chanterelles.
I really like this color palette.
Yeah, nice and fall.
Yeah.
And then before we get too dry, yeah, blend your colors together. Add some twists and turns.
Go crazy.
Go crazy. Go crazy.
I like that you're adding a lot of color, a lot of pigment.
Yeah, we are going in pretty heavy with pigment. And if you want to go in a couple times, you totally can. Like, let this dry, do another round, all that. Now I'm going to show the salt technique really early on here because I want my paper to be quite wet when I put the salt down. So this red section is where I want my salt to go, and it is very wet right now. If I waited too long, it would it would look a little different. So I'm just going to take a pinch of salt. I'm literally just going to drop it right on my wet paint. And this is going to dry in a really cool textural way. I'll show you here when we're done.
What happens is the salt sucks up the water, like salt does.
Just do it on one side.
Oh,
and then adds
I
this
went a
whole
little crazy with
pattern.
my salt.
Yeah. So we just want to make sure that we get, well, don't do that. It's fine. Keep it loose. We don't want anything too precise. I'm pulling this all the way down to where I had my markers so I don't have any white space. And then from here, if I wanted to add more color, just do that. Be mindful of painting over where I put the salt, but like even having these paint stripes from the brush, I think looks really cool. So like sometimes I'll just get a little crazy with it. All right. So it's really that easy. I want you to have fun. I want you to be playful. Don't be precise. Step out of your perfectionist mindset and into a space of play and silliness. If you need to do this a couple times, then please do.
So Christine asked, salt technique, it's better to have bigger chunks. I said either, but what do you think, Emily?
Yeah, I would say go for it. If you have a chunky salt, use a chunky salt. I use this like kind of medium grain salt, honestly, just because that's what we had.
Right.
But a finer salt is going to just leave little teeny textures. A bigger salt will leave a little more. Next up, I'm just mixing the mushroom stem color, and I'm doing this in a cuppy. You can do this on your palette. And I want this to be a really soft, neutral. It could be a little brown. It could be a little more purpley mushroomy based on the palette that you want. Keep in mind, you know, if I'm using this yellow color, I want to counteract that to pull it back. So I'll put in maybe a little bit of this. I just did a teeny bit of this black and a little bit of the indigo. We don't want it to go green, but it just balances it so it's not so yellow. And I did add white. I usually don't paint with white, but it's kind of nice to have this milky texture. So I'm going to use this whole color, and we're just going to go the whole bottom section with one color. Easy peasy. You're welcome to use that.
Oh, okay.
Something to keep in mind too when you're using watercolor is that what you see on the paper when you put it down will lighten as it dries.
Definitely. It really shifts tone as it dries. And also, like Anna was saying, once this is cut out, it's going to look totally different. So right now it looks messy, it looks crazy. That's good. We want it to look messy and crazy.
The more messy, the better, really.
The more messy, the better. And then once I'm done with this, once I'm kind of happy with my depth of color, I'm just gonna set this aside and we're gonna let that dry all the way. And now we're going to paint our background. So for this, let's, I'm gonna mix this color first and we'll share it. Or we can each mix it out.
I'm already having fun.
So before I start with anything, I'm just gonna pre-mix this color. I'll let you mix your own. So I want, because this is gonna be pretty big, we're covering this whole square here, I'm gonna make a decent amount of color here, just so I don't have to try to color match. So I'm just putting water in and whatever remaining paint was in here. And I did this like indigo color, a little bit of black, and then for one of them I added a little bit of this viridian, so it's a little more teal. And be sure to test your color out, see if you like it. See, that's a little too black. And yeah, watercolors, honestly, they say it's unforgiving, and in some ways it is unforgiving, but in a lot of ways I think it's a lot more forgiving than people give it credit for.
Especially this type of project.
Especially this type of project. Okay, so I'm just wiping my brush off. It doesn't need to be 100% clean, but what I'm gonna do is paint a rectangle shape on my paper, keeping about 1 inch to 1/2 inch away from the edge. And I don't want this to be perfect, but because we kind of like that painterly look, but we're just gonna draw this little rectangle guy, fill it in with some water really quick, and from there I'll take my blue color and we'll just paint right in. For my finished project on this one, I did about 3 layers of paint, letting it dry completely between to get the depth that I wanted. So I would paint this, let it dry, and then go in with the same color or even a slightly different color to add the next layer. Watercolor is all about layering. And you can do a little bit of color variation in this. Like for instance, if you wanted to have a little bit of a gradient, you absolutely can. Just play with it. And I like having this edge be kind of crazy. I don't want it to be perfect. I want it to look painterly. I love doing these watercolor projects. I think they're so relaxing. And once we get to the assembly phase, it really feels like a puzzle. It feels like you're doing a puzzle.
It is very relaxing, very soothing.
This is the best of adult coloring.
It really is. And I just feel so inspired by fall right now.
Yes.
It's like a perfect fall activity.
Yay! Well, that's honestly the end of the painting section. From here, what I would do is let this dry and then do another layer or 2 of the same color, or a different color if you wanted to. And we're just gonna put those in our easy bake oven here and pop out with some dry, fully cut ones.
It's like magic.
Just like magic.
Like watercoloring.
Take all this away. Okay, so we cut these on a Cricut. This was mine. Here's Anna's. I cut these on a Cricut afterwards, so what I did was just place the paper down, and I actually taped the edges just with some washi tape. You can see Anna's is still taped down, just so that this paper didn't move too much. The Favani cloud paper is quite thick, so I cut this with the heavy cardstock setting, and that works perfectly well.
And look how the salt
yeah, so you can
so pretty.
see, and it looks even. So this, yeah, this is what the salt looks like when you fully let it dry. Thank you. And let's see this magic. So, this is the fun part. I'm gonna peel my edge off, and you can see how cool the color is. And these are our backgrounds also. You can see my final depths. Gorgeous.
That is really gorgeous.
So
Wow.
pretty.
Yes.
Okay, so what we're gonna do is start to assemble these mushrooms. Now down here I have our stems, and the caps that are on the bottom are going to be the base for these upper caps.
So is this when you would turn this over? Or?
Yes. So check on this area up top on our cutting guide. I have all the mushrooms lined up, and you can see pretty much exactly what you need. So I'm gonna take these all off. I should have grabbed some tweezers. And I'm going to try to keep them kind of organized. I'll leave all the little stems on right now and just start with the big ones. Leah's doing a guest appearance.
Hi.
Thank
Bringing
you.
tweezers is our little assistant today.
Yeah, so let's start with those biggest shapes. So let's pull off the big ones. Oh, one thing I did want to say, sorry, really quickly, before you fully peel your paper, if you have it on here, Anna's is a great example. For instance, right here on these stars, you can see we have a little bit of white at the bottom. And if you didn't want that, it's so easy. You could just go in with a little bit of whatever color you want and just smudge it in. And that will dry just fine. That will dry just fine. It just adds more texture.
I like texture.
And I did that a little bit over here on yours, and I was like, oh, I should actually show this on camera. So you can always add a little more color once these are cut out.
Look how pretty.
Okay, continue with our big mushrooms. So
I
for
love
these,
the speckles on the mushrooms.
it's so cute.
So cute.
So I'm just gonna kind of lay them together with their pairs right now. We've got that one with that one. Use your reference sheet. This is where it feels like a puzzle to me. It's just like assembling.
It's like adult coloring and puzzle.
So I can see that this little fringy guy here goes on this mushroom with the round top. So this one right there. I'm not gluing anything right now. I want to just get it all organized first.
So many details on these mushrooms.
Yeah, little guys. And I'm gonna leave all my tiny little mushroom tops on right now, just because I don't want to mess with that too much. We'll just start with the big ones. Oh, and don't forget the skirt of our tall mushroom. Boop.
Look, that has a skirt.
Little skirt. Okay. So cute. So we can reference, which guy is this? Mushroom cap. And this is for that big guy. Okay. We're good for now. So I kind of have them just laid out where they're going to go, double checking that I have the right stems on the right pieces. You can just kind of look at the shapes for that. When I made this last time, the first time, I definitely put one of the stems on one of the wrong mushrooms and I had to redo it, but easy enough to pull off. So to make the mushrooms with the little hole in the middle, it's pretty easy. I am going to start just by gluing this top half of the mushroom cap. I don't want to glue this bottom half down yet until I get that stem placed. So, oh wait, it's the other way around. I'm going to glue the bottom section and leave that top section a little loose so that I can tuck the stem underneath. So I just put a little glue right on that edge and on the top, and I'm going to place this here, and then really quickly, while it's still not set, I'm going to slide this under here. And if I want to add a little glue there. And like I said, with the watercolor paper, you don't have to be as careful with the glue because this paper will absorb, which is great.
And it holds really well.
Yeah, it has like a nice, it feels really nice, and it has like a nice
Weight.
Not depth, but weight. Yeah, thank you.
So that's one mushroom done. Yay! And if I want to add more glue, I can. But let's see how this feels.
These would make really cute little gift tags or little ornaments, you know,
That's a sweet
punch
idea.
a hole in them and hang them on a string.
Mm-hmm.
Because the texture is really cool. Or actually, Christine I'm laughing because Christine's the most chatty in the comments and we need more people talking, or we don't need it, but I love hearing what you
Hi,
have to
Christine.
say. And Kelly, of course.
You want to
But
go over that. You want to
she
go
said
over
that she's going to put some of these on Christmas cards, which I thought was adorable.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a wonderful idea. I like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
So
I
we
might
were,
do that
we
too.
were just chatting really quickly before we move on. Make sure that when you're placing these stems, your stem section is going over this back circle, and then you want it just to tuck right into there. So we don't want this to be over the stem, if that makes sense. So like with this next one, the stem is gonna go right in there. But I need to glue it down first. And I already glued on the skirt of this guy, and the base has the cutout, so it's really easy just to place that right on there. Just adds a nice depth.
Yeah, I don't think I would ever have come up with all of this on my own. So it's nice to have somebody else design the shapes for me, but I still feel like I've made something.
Yeah, and it's custom to you
Yes.
because you're paint and you chose the colors and all of that.
And Teresa says this would be cute as part of a fall foliage banner.
Totally.
Oh, yeah.
That would look
Like
great.
a little garland almost, yeah.
Yeah.
Over the fireplace.
A garland. I could see it on bulletin boards in schools.
Oh, yeah, that's a wonderful
Or,
idea.
you know,
So
make them
cute.
into magnets for your fridge.
I love all of these ideas.
So I'm continuing to go. I'm just gluing the little mushroom skirt down here in the cap before we glue it to the, so I just did that.
Okay.
And then I'm going to glue it down to same process as the last ones. And this is definitely the most tedious point of making these,
But it's fun.
but it's fun.
Yeah. The assembly.
The assembly takes a little bit of time, but I think it's really fun. Little puzzle. If you've ever been into making those little miniature kits, it kind of feels like that.
I mean, like the one behind you?
Yeah, I was going to say, I know who would be really good at this.
If you didn't notice, we have a custom miniature made by one of our amazing members who came to our summit. She made us this miniature of our
You're gonna
studio.
have to bring that down if you
Yeah,
want.
Tracy, are you on here today?
Check it out on our, we have an,
I don't see Tracy today, but maybe she'll watch the replay. So shout out to Tracy. We even
is
turned the
really
lights on today.
Amazing.
You can just picture us there crafting. So cute.
Maybe we'll have little dolls made to put in.
I think we should. We could do little peg dolls.
Yeah, it's a perfect replica of our video studio.
Okay, so I'm just gonna keep going. I've got 3 big guys made, and those are my done ones. Continuing. You having fun over there?
I'm reading the comments. Mappy Man said, tiny home.
Yeah, exactly.
Love it. Christine wants us to make little felt peoples to go inside.
I think that's a great idea.
Like the finger puppets.
Yes.
And this is just these kinds of, just double check your stems from the reference here before you attach. Just check the angle and how far in it goes. You can kind of, it doesn't need to be precise. This can be custom to you, but it is nice so that you don't accidentally get things mixed up. Like for instance, this guy, we want it to point in this direction.
I might have glued my guys to the table.
Oh, do you want a tray? Let me get you a tray.
A little crafting blooper.
There you go.
What's nice though is that the paper is so thick it doesn't tear.
Yeah. If you haven't done one of these watercolor projects, I hope this inspires you because I really love making them.
And we have, you said already, how many have we
I
made?
actually don't know the exact number, but
But there's quite a few. Just
Quite a
just
few.
search watercolor.
at least 8, at most 11.
And more coming because everyone seems to really love them.
And there are so many fun uses. Like People are saying for gift cards or gift tags or ornaments or garlands.
Yeah.
And that's really neat. I love all of these ideas. Sounds like a fun little Thanksgiving project to do.
This would be
With
really
the family, yeah.
fun to do. I've seen people do the cherry blossom one as a group, which I thought was so cute. Okay, I'm gonna really quickly talk you through these chanterelles. So I've got my 2 little chanterelles, and for one of them, oh, this guy flew over here. For one of them, I have just one little top, and he's got this cute little X in the middle. I love him. And then for the other one, I have this top section that just layers here, and then this is kind of like a fold piece. So it looks like it's coming towards us, and this is just gonna layer right on top. So it's the 3-layered chanterelle, and this is where our tweezers can kind of come in handy. But they'll just layer right on top of each other. There shouldn't really be any overhang, if that makes sense. And there we go. Little chanterelle. So cute.
So my son made one of your watercolor projects last year for his grandmother for Christmas.
Oh, that's right. Which one
Yeah.
was it? Do you remember?
I don't remember which one. I think it was some orange blossom.
Oh, yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it's very
Oh, the
pretty though.
kumquat. The kumquat.
Oh, it was the
That was the
kumquat.
first one that I did.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Hangs on her wall.
There we go. Another use. Christmas gifts.
Yeah.
Yay.
So
I mean, it's a little nicer than some of his other artwork. So
Okay.
this one
pretty
deserves a spot on the
it's
wall.
nice and fail-proof, honestly. Okay, so I've got most of my big mushrooms assembled here, and I'm starting in on my smaller guys, which I want to assemble them in their little subsections as I go. So I'm just going to start with this chanterelle, and I'm going to reference how I've layered them here. I just have them ever so slightly offset right about like that. So I'm just going to glue this so that it doesn't move around. It's just kind of a unit.
And I would say that you're drawing your layout as a guide if someone wants to arrange it
Totally.
a different way.
Please, I encourage you, if you want to arrange it differently,
Yeah.
absolutely do. Play around with it. But I do find it to be pretty easy, especially for these ones here, like these groups. These ones are nice in little glued together sections. I think this one is a little hard, but it's fine. Okay, continuing our mushroom journey today.
Our mushroom foraging.
Foraging off the cricket mat.
That's a thing here in Portland.
Yeah, lots of mushroom foraging, especially this time of year. There's tons of chanterelles.
These really look like chanterelles.
Yeah. So I'm just pulling off all my little guys.
Okay.
How are you all doing out there today?
How is everybody doing today? Put some comments in. We're having a cute little chat here, and then it goes quiet for a minute.
It is pretty rainy here in Portland.
Is it?
Yes.
I already missed that sunshine.
It feels very fall, which I like. I like how the seasons change. It's nice. Okay, I'm just gonna leave my stems on these mat and pull them off as I go so I don't lose anything.
Lots
But
of little pieces.
lots of little pieces, but we're just gonna keep going, and I'm doing the exact same thing for this guy, the biggest one on our mushroom grouping here. The stem actually stops. You can see the visible end, so I can glue down this whole thing before I put that center down.
Christine and Kelly say that it's raining in Utah.
That time of the year.
Yep.
Christine, what are you doing in Utah?
She lives there.
Doesn't she live in Idaho?
Well, okay, sorry. Kelly said it's raining in Utah. Christine said it's raining, and she lives in Idaho, close to Utah.
We keep track of you guys.
I know.
We miss you all.
We
Yeah.
put a tracker on you when you left. No, I'm kidding.
For those of you that don't know, we just had our event, our yearly annual crafting event. Oh, I don't know why I'm gluing this whole thing. Only glue the top.
Cold and dreary in Savannah.
Oh, that's surprising. I thought it was still pretty hot there. Probably enjoying cooling down a bit, though, I'm sure.
So many tiny pieces. Yeah, it feels like making miniatures to me. My plan this fall is to do as many fall activities as possible.
I like that.
I want
plan.
yeah, pumpkin patch,
Kicking leaves.
maze, yeah, jumping in a leaf pile, not thinking about all the things that could be in the leaf pile.
Yeah, let's not think about that.
And Yasmin says it's bright and sunny in Alabama.
Oh, maybe we should take a trip there.
Yes, let me know if you need any help, Anna. And if anybody's crafting along with us, please let me know. I'm just curious. I'm sure a lot of people are at work, but
Yeah.
hopefully this will just kind of break the barrier of entry. People seem to have a little bit of stress around starting watercolor.
I'd say it's way more fun than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
All right, they're chiming in on their weather. It sounds like Florida's sunny. Yes, and Teresa said this is a perfect kickoff for fall crafts.
It really is, yeah.
In Boston went from 80 degrees to 38 degrees.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a big change.
And to answer the question, how many of you are out there crafting along today? Or are you just going to watch it first and then come back and make it maybe this weekend?
Yes. So many cute things.
And Kelly and Christine are talking about tarantulas.
Oh, wow.
It is Halloween.
Find those in the mushrooms?
Nappy Man said he's crafting emails.
Yeah.
Hey, that's also crafting.
That is. I like that. That's cute.
Okay, so this guy, so I'm just gonna assemble this one. I have this 3 here, and you can see it on it's right here. I also have it up here, but so I can see this guy is on the top. I have the squiggly one with the long top here in the middle, and the shorter top with the curvy bottom here in the back. That's how I keep them differentiated. Very technical terms.
Hey, I get it.
I think
3.
that this might be the wrong bottom. So you've got a pointy bottom. So that's where we need to like kind of keep an eye up here. So these round ones have the round stem bottoms. The pointy ones are for these side guys.
Okay.
It sounds like most people are watching first and then they're going to do it later. Vicky says she's watching it while she's making an autumn bouquet.
Oh.
Ooh.
Yep.
So please share a photo with us.
Teresa says she's going to make it after because she likes to not make mistakes.
Well, make some mistakes, please. This is
Happy
a really
mistakes.
great one to make mistakes.
Yes.
And I just did one, and Emily fixed it for me right away.
But that was a pretty easy one, right?
Yeah.
And what just happened if you missed it, we just needed to trade a stem out. And I did the exact same thing when I was making these the first time. I had the wrong stems. So just double check your stem pieces with your tops.
So anybody that knows me knows that I like to chat.
And it's okay if you do mix them up a little. It's not going to be that big.
No,
of a
it'll
deal.
be fine. But just for continuity. Okay, we'll continue with our little guys. I've got 3.
Lori is crafting along,
Hi, Lori.
but
so
she's
glad.
waiting for her watercolor to dry.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It does take some time. Boop, boop. So I've got 4 of my pointy stems left for these guys here. Just gonna check. So this guy's on this really swoopy one. This one is on the shortest one. Here we've got this long one and that one there. And now I glue. Okay, easy. You still having fun, Anna?
I am having a blast. I'm concentrating.
It's nice because it really.
I really need this little guide. It's very helpful.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Christine suggested getting a heat gun. I think we had one once
For what?
to
Oh,
dry
to
your
rush it.
watercolor.
Yes.
Fast.
You can do that. I do find that because the heat gun is blowing, you do get some texture variations.
Which is kind of fun, I guess. Yeah.
I've played around a lot with that, Christine, in my personal art.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier to iron it.
Yeah, for the backgrounds for these guys. So watercolor paper is really interesting. It's actually a cotton-based paper, and when you paint water on it, it expands and will wrinkle. If you paint water on just one section, like we did here, it's going to be prone to wrinkling because this edge piece didn't expand and then shrink back down. So all of this is going to be slightly different texture even when it's dry. So I put these, just ironed them really quickly to get them flat-ish. But if you really want your paper to be the most treated, what you do when you're a professional watercolor, or if you're really like wanting to get into watercolor, is you're going to pre-treat your paper just by completely getting it wet, either with a paintbrush. But what I used to do is I would just, it feels crazy, but run it right under the sink and just get it wet all the way, let it completely dry, and then do your paint on top of that, and you'll have no warping or shrinkage. Doesn't really matter for this, but if you really wanted to know some pro tips.
There we go. I remember back in college when I was doing watercolor, we would tape our watercolor paper to the board all the way around
Yeah, with the water activated tape.
with a water activated tape. Yeah.
Oh, how interesting.
Yeah, you'd tape it and then you'd pre-treat it. And you can totally do that, but you're still, unless you're completely soaking your paper, you're not getting both sides wet.
And Christine said really getting the whole thing wet first and you can avoid the warping.
Yep. But you'll just want to let it completely dry first. Like, get both sides wet, and then you can dab it off so it's not like dripping wet, and then just let it dry completely and you won't have warping. It will warp when you're painting, but it will dry flat.
Lori wants to know what size of frame you used.
So this is just standard paper. This is 8.5 by 11 paper. So you can use whatever frame size fits that. I know that ours is pretty chunky.
Well, what I decided, because I actually bought the frame, I wanted the edge of the paper to show because I liked, well, wait, no, it went under.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on, let me grab it.
It is a bigger frame. We have all of these
yeah, here we go.
watercolor paintings in the same size frame.
So it fits the 8.5 by 11.
Hello.
I'm here. So it fits the 8.5 by 11, but it shows the edge of the watercolor around it. I thought that was really pretty, but the mat covers the edge of the paper. Does that show? There we go. I know, I just can't keep out of the camera.
Some people love the camera.
Yeah.
No.
For these super teeny tiny little mushrooms, that my little small detailed ones, I am not even double checking which top goes on which. It doesn't matter. For these last little teeny guys down here, plus they're all similar enough that it's fine.
So Maz wants to know, do you suggest drying it under weights to keep it flatter?
Good
If
question.
you put a weight on it when it's still wet, it will affect the drying process. So you'll want to wait for it to completely dry and then you can put it under a weight, or wait for it to completely dry and then you can iron it, or yeah, put it under something flat and it will flatten right out. This is still, you can see it's not 100% flat, but
that's the beauty of it too.
that's fine. That's fine with me. And you can see this are the ones that we just did. I love this texture here on the edge where we got some of this blooming.
Yeah, I do too. That's very organic.
So like having it be imperfect is part of what I love about watercolor.
And then just to be clear, one more question. This is fun. I love all these questions. The heat from the iron doesn't affect the paint pigment?
It doesn't, unless you are doing it while it's wet.
Right, you have to wait till it's dry.
And I did do it face down, so I had this down on my cloth and then ironed the top. But I have ironed it face up and it's fine.
Yeah. It might really depend on the quality of the paints.
Sure.
It could.
Test it out.
Test it.
Test it.
Obviously, there's a bazillion paints out there to choose from.
But in all my days of ironing watercolor, I've never had it affect anything.
Yeah, it's kind of like we like to iron our crepe paper too. It's very satisfying.
So you can see I've got my little groups here, which I love how these groups look. Like if you were going to arrange it completely differently, please do, but the groups are so satisfying.
The little clusters.
The little clusters. Yep. And like this guy I'm going to make into this kind of spray, which I think looks really natural.
It's all coming together.
Now I could absolutely just assemble this, especially this last one, on the paper. I don't really need to do this ahead of time, but I'm just kind of doing a couple of the bigger shapes together really quickly, just so it's done. Less things to wrangle.
Kelly says, I would rather iron paper than clothes. And I say, I agree with you, Kelly. Unless I'm sewing, then it's kind of fun. Iron those seams open.
I disagree with you.
You don't like ironing seams open?
She likes iron clothes, is what she means.
No, I don't like ironing seams open. I've been trying to learn how to sew, and it's one of those things where every little teeny tiny step makes all the difference. Like ironing
the seams open. It's kind of like paper flower making. The details count.
So I've got my little cluster here, ready to go. Cluster, 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 and then my big guys up here. Okay, I'm going to show you guys how to add any additional detail. If you want, Anna, you don't have to do this step. You could absolutely just stop here and go into assembly, but if you want a little extra detail, I'm going to add some gills on our mushrooms that are showing their underbellies. Now, I could just do this with paint, easy enough. I have my little detail brush, mix something fairly neutral, kind of similar to our stem color, but a little bit more. I'm just using leftover paint from our pigment here. A little bit more muted. So I don't want this to be too dark. I want it to be quite light. And then I'm using this little teeny tiny brush, and I'm just going to draw some gills. So this is just going to be little fine lines kind of facing in towards our center. Now this is such a subtle detail. Like I said, if you want to skip this, you're totally welcome to. I do tend to do colored pencil details with all of these watercolor projects, but you can absolutely skip them. And I'm not being precious about this. This is good. This is fine.
I think this is such a fun detail. I definitely want this.
Yeah, and then I'll show you how to do it with pencils too. But one last step, if you want a little extra shadow, and this is something that I've talked about before in my watercolor lessons or whatever. When I'm adding shadow, I'm not going to take the shadow all the way to the edge here. I'm going to put that shadow a little bit away, so it's got a little bit of a gap. This is a little too dark for me, but we'll just add some water and it will be fine. gonna take the shadow just kind of up. And you can see that gap over here. I'm not taking it to the edge, and that adds that depth because there's gonna be reflected light coming from this side. It's a super easy technique to make your watercolor paintings look just that much more round.
For sure, that much better.
So I'm just gonna do the same thing here. I'm gonna just paint a little shadow, especially down here at the base, keeping it away from the edge. If I want to do a little under this or down here, I can do that under the skirt.
I think I'm gonna grab this paintbrush.
Yeah. Here, sorry. Yeah, so added some gills, and that is very nice and simple. And then if you want to do this with colored pencil, it's literally just the same thing, but with a pencil. Which pencils are nice and precise, and you don't have to be quite so careful. So we love that. And then I'm literally just gonna do the super light. I'm not pushing at all. I'm barely grazing my pencil across the surface of this paper to get that shadow, keeping it in the same place, not going to the edge. Just a little bit of depth.
So you can do one or the other.
Yeah. I wouldn't do both.
Yeah.
Just do one or the other. If you're more comfortable with the pencil, it's really easy to add the gills in with the pencil. If you want to play with paint more, this is a pretty simple one to do. And I'm only going to add gills to the ones where the underbelly is showing.
It's just these little details really kind of adds a lot of
Yeah.
wow factor, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, Deborah says that all of these little tips elevate them even more.
Yeah.
Well said, I agree. That's what I was trying to say.
And if you're playing around with paint or colored pencils or any art that requires pigment, I really encourage everyone to experiment with your pressure when you're using that medium, because you can get so much difference when you are really pushing versus just a light swoosh, swoosh. So practice this on the side. If you're not comfortable or if you're nervous going in, just draw on your template. Practice over here. Get comfy with the feeling, and then you can move over to your official ones.
So if you were to pick, would you do colored pencil or would you do the watercolor?
So the cool thing about the watercolor here, if I could get a little close up. Okay, this way. The cool thing about the watercolor is you can see the texture still. Like here, there's that little bit of watercolor blob texture that I like. I want that. So that's cool. But the colored pencil was way faster and way more precise. So take your pick. I like the texture of the watercolor, but if I were moving fast and not so comfortable with watercolor, I would go with the colored pencil. If that makes sense. Okay, look at this, so cute. So I also will just quickly mention these stars, these little pieces here. I'm going to leave these till the very end before placing them down, because I'm going to use them to balance my composition, and I might not put them in the exact same places that I put them here. If it feels a little off center, I'm going to use them as a tool to recenter. So do you want the more teal one or the more gray one?
I want the more gray one. A little moody.
So let's just take a look at our template here, and we're going to just quickly place everything down. Try to get it around where you want it, and we're not gluing anything yet.
And there's lots of pieces.
Lots of pieces, but that's why we made these groups, because there's less than you think when you make the groups.
So yours are kind of hugging each other.
Yeah, so I'm really like following my overlay that I did here. And I'm not even really going to bother placing these small ones, but I can see about where I want them to be. This goes there, and then these will go right in there.
I really love these colors against that backdrop.
I
It's
know.
like smoking hot.
So here, let's show Anna's. You can see her dark gray. It's really pretty.
I mean, it's so pretty on that too. It's just the color combo is amazing.
Yeah, and this is where if you want to go willy-nilly, do whatever you'd like, please play around. You could like lay these all out. You don't have to put them in this kind of pile that I did them in. But I like the little pile. So I'm just going to start with my big mushrooms now that I have my arrangement about sorted, and this guy is all the way in the back. So we'll start with this. I guess that guy's all in the back. We're just going to be really careful. Sometimes when I'm gluing these, oh, you have a question?
No, just talk louder or more precise so people can hear what you're saying.
Sorry.
No mumbling.
I get really in the zone.
We're just excited.
In the art zone. I'm going to say that's good enough. It doesn't need to be exact. So I'm going to glue these down here. You do not have to do what I'm doing, but I'm holding down the stem and gluing the top. And then I'm going to put that down. And now I can kind of go back in here.
And from what I can see, you're not gluing the whole thing. You're just adding some glue in the center.
We want the glue to hold it down, but it doesn't need to be completely covered in a wash of glue. It will be fine. Like for instance, I didn't glue that section of this mushroom down, but I am going to glue this section of this mushroom down. Boop.
Emily's comes with sound effects, like a little boops.
Never stops.
I need that kind of glue. The boop.
If your glue isn't booping, is it really gluing?
I don't think so. I like the booping.
Boop. You can see about how much glue I've put on. It's not a crazy amount.
This glue sticks so well.
So well. You can also use risers if you wanted to add more depth. I've used risers a lot with these series, but I felt like the layers in themselves, since we were layering so many, it worked just fine with the paper. And things that I'm looking at while I'm placing this is in my template here, like how far apart are the stems? What's the distance here between this cap and this cap? Are these two overlaying? These are the things that I'm looking at when I'm placing. And see, I don't have it exact. Like here, I have this overlapping way more, but I want to create this separation here. This is more important to me. So I'm creating this separation, and I'm not worried about that.
Boop.
Boop.
So Teresa did ask if you would use riser squares, and I would say yes. And I would probably use them on the front, like
They're just too small.
Well, I would use them on the mushrooms that are towards the front of the art versus the ones all the way behind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you need the,
You don't want it to get high too quickly.
yeah, you need the base.
But there are small risers, so it's up to you. I think that'd be really cute.
So I saw my composition was a little too far in this direction. It was a little heavy over here. So when I placed this one, I did do it a little off from my template again to kind of pull it in this direction. And that's why we have our last ones, you know, like this. If I wanted to put this up here, I totally could. If I want to put this down here, that's great. Go by kind of how it's sitting on the paper. And this is why I love having these pre-grouped. Like this is so easy. Boop, boop. More sound effects.
The sound effects are my favorite part, I think. I mean, I'm just kidding. Obviously, this piece of art is my favorite part, but...
Yeah.
So this is a great example of my composition ended up a little to this direction, but I'm not going to redo it. We're going to use our stars to balance it out. So I have a lot of weight kind of over in this corner, and I want a little more over here to balance. So when I place these stars, I'm going to use that to keep that in mind. So we're going to put a star over here to pull everything this way and keep these stars higher and more in this direction. Maybe something like that.
Oh, wow, that's really pretty.
And it just,
yeah.
the stars really add so much to this painting, and I love them. That's a little bit of my personal art brand coming in to work.
That's really fun.
And that's all. We finished.
I just love this. It's so pretty.
So that's it. That's all there is to it. And now you have a beautiful little collection of mushrooms. And while things are still drying, you can always kind of move them around until your heart is content with the look. But it's so easy once you kind of get everything put together. And the result is really just goes off with a bang.
I still have 2 stars to add, but look at that.
That's beautiful.
So pretty.
So pretty. The salt is so cute.
Yeah, that salt texture is really cool. You can really see it up here.
Yeah.
What that salt does. Ooh la la, so beautiful.
I know. I'm not.
I have
want
a
to go
whole
make the
mushroom
other
section
ones.
I forgot to add.
Oh, so do I.
Tiny guys.
Uh-oh. Is there another mushroom?
Just a tiny one.
Okay, you can put it in that spot.
Right there.
Yes. Mine also tended to be a little left heavy, so.
Yeah, we all kind of do it. It's natural. If you really are unhappy with the way it looks, you can always just pull these mushrooms off and repaint your background if it's too messed up from the glue.
Or
But
just, start a new background.
to start a new background. These mushrooms should pull off pretty easily.
But I think it looks perfect.
Yes.
You can make a few extra mushrooms if you wanted to add
I know, I
some
have a
in.
whole other sheet worth of mushrooms over here. Just make more.
More mushrooms, always a
She's
good
going to
idea.
get started on those gift tags.
Yeah. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed making this with us. I'd love to know if you decide that you want to try this out, or if you try out any of the other ones over on our shop. It's pretty, or not shop, our website. If you look up Layered Watercolor, it will come up and show you all of them.
Or even watercolor.
Yeah.
I did put in the comments to share photos of your finished art in Crafters when you're done.
Yeah.
And
Please.
we got some good responses. So
Yeah,
so
put it
neat.
on social media so we can all see it. That would be really fun.
I know.
social media and tag us so we can find you easy.
It's been so cool seeing more people doing watercolor. Like Christine did a watercolor after our event, and I was so happy.
Yeah.
So thank you.
I also think it's good for those of us who get a little too precise in
Yeah.
our crafting work to loosen up a little
Yeah,
bit. So-
watercolor is the perfect opportunity. Like here, before we go, like see how cool this dried,
That is so pretty.
and once you cut out your design, it looks so cool. Yay!
This has been really fun.
This has been so fun.
All
Thank
right.
you, everyone.
Should we tell them what we're doing next month?
No? Yes?
Yes. Okay, next month for Crafternoon, we actually it's November, so we're actually doing a full week of Crafty Wonderland. Whoop,
Okay, we're doing Crafty Wonderland in November.
Wonderland in
What's
November.
the dates for that?
I cannot tell you, but
Do you remember?
we watch your emails and
I
you'll
think
get
it's like
the
the
dates.
17th, something like
We
that.
talked about that.
Yeah.
Well, you'll get the dates in your email, so keep an eye out if you want to join us for our Crafty Wonderland week of crafting in preparation for the holidays. We'd love to see you over there, and hope you have a wonderfully crafty rest of your weekend.
Yes. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Bye-bye.